Welcome to the Office of Student Services Media Library, brought to you by your host, Mr. Pulliam.
Hey there, students. Mr. Pulliam here again with another digital lesson. So today we're going to talk about taking good notes and what is involved in taking good notes. I've been talking to some of your teachers lately, and it seems like note-taking is something here at Paint Valley that we really need to work on. So let's get started. So first off, I want you guys to practice taking notes today during my lesson. Your teacher should have printed you off a note-taking sheet that you can use to take notes during the lesson. If they didn't, then just go ahead and use a piece of notebook paper and just take notes however you normally take notes during this lesson. I'm going to describe some other note-taking ways that you guys can use to take good notes, but I want you guys to try your way during the lesson and see how it matches up with what I'm going to teach you. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to teach you 3 different ways to take notes. Now, there are some other ways out there, but these are 3 great ways that you guys can use to take notes. Okay. The first method is called the outline method. This is the simplest method that I can teach you to use. It involves using dots or bullet points. And on the first bullet point is going to be the main topic. So it's probably going to be a big header that a teacher has on the board or just a main idea. So in this presentation, the main topic is outline method. And then next, you're going to put a topic, another dot, a little bit over this time though. You can use different colors, shapes, sizes, whatever. But it's going to be a little bit over, indented a little bit. And this is a subtopic. So on this page, the subtopics would be advantages and disadvantages. And then finally, you're going to put one more, and it's going to slide over even further than the second dot or bullet point. And this is going to be thoughts or supporting facts that you think are important. So in this one, these would be the third bullet points. So the outline method is good because it reduces the time needed to edit and review your notes. It shows different relationships between topics, and it allows you guys to focus on the lesson instead of spending too much time getting your notes right. So it's easy to use and doesn't require a lot of thought. Unfortunately, the outline method is really tough to use for classes that require a lot of formulas or graphs. So if you're learning something in, let's say, science or physics, it's going to be hard to use the outline method. You might need a little bit more of a detailed note-taking strategy. But it's great for things like English, history, and this is more just when you want to take notes quickly over a topic. The next method, which you might have heard me talk about before, are these things called Cornell notes. So Cornell notes are a scientifically proven method to take notes. So you start out by dividing the page into 4 or sometimes only 3 different sections. So you divide it up top, put the title in big bold letters, and then you put the date there too. Next, you split the middle part down the side. So normally there's a red line here on your notebook paper. Just follow that red line, and then you got keywords and questions that go in there. Then on the bottom, you put a summary. So after you're done with your notes, you're going to summarize them. And then in this other section, you're going to write your main notes. So you're ideally going to use abbreviations. You don't want to write down everything your teacher's saying because it's going to take too long. And you're also going to write down key thoughts that you think are important. So things your teachers repeat, things your teachers emphasize. I know that in Miss Jackson's class, when I'm in there, she really says, okay, this is going to be on your test. And Mr. Massey does the same thing. So when your teachers say that, you guys need to make sure that you are watching and paying close attention so you can write that down. So when you split it into different sections, make sure that all the actual notes from the lecture go into the main note-taking column, which is right here. This column is just for keywords and questions you have when you're going through. And then right down here, you want to do a brief summary of everything that's on this page. That kind of gives you a chance to rewrite things and to just learn again what you've already been taught. So it's just kind of reinforcing your habits. So You might be saying, Mr. Porgan, why should I use this method? Well, the system itself encourages you to reflect on your notes because you have to summarize them in your own words. So it makes you reread them and reflect on them. Next, it's useful to reorder objects on the page when you're studying so that you can get more than one look at what you're working on. And this method helps you do that. Finally, this system is efficient and it's scientifically proven, when done correctly, to help students achieve better grades on exams. There have been multiple scientific studies done that say this is true. So basically, guys, you should use Cornell Notes because, as Ron Burgundy says, it's science. The final way is a new method called the boxing method, which you guys can check out iPad Studying on Instagram. And on this website, or on this Instagram page, she talks about how she uses the boxing method to improve her note-taking and to improve her studying. So to start, she makes 2 columns and divides each part with headings. And she normally uses lined or box paper just because it's easier. And then she just writes down everything that she pays attention to in class. So she writes down the main points, anything she might think is important. And then after class, she starts drawing boxes around things that go together. So each section of the notes that should be grouped together, they get a box around it. So she rewrites things, or if she's on a computer, she copies and pastes, and she groups them together. So this would mean that for like lectures, she groups together every couple slides, or for articles, every few paragraphs. So she makes sure that they are connected, and she uses the boxes to show that they are related to each other. And this is good because it makes you think about and read your notes twice, once when you write them and once when you put them in the boxes. It separates your topics so that you can see and visualize, okay, this piece of information is about this topic and this piece of information is about this topic, which makes it easier to remember and recall. When studying, it's easier to focus on one box at a time than an entire page. I do say a lot, guys. I'm sorry for that. We're just going to get used to it. The notes are much more concise, as the author, iPad Studying, doesn't want the boxes to be too long or wide. There I go again. Now I see it every time. It makes moving notes around very easy too. So when you're moving notes from one side to the other, from one box to another, you are doing it with simple maneuvers. You're not moving things around a bunch. You're just moving them around to be organized. Now, let's have a discussion. I know you guys probably don't want to have this discussion because, let's be honest, discussions aren't always the most fun part of a lesson. But we have to. As Sean and Cora are discussing here, we have to talk about what we've learned. Even if we don't want to, we have to. So I'm going to set a timer. I want you guys to talk about these questions. Talk about how important is note-taking? How important do you think note-taking is? Talk about, has this activity changed the way in which you take notes? And if so, how has it done so? And then finally, talk about, do you feel more prepared to take notes now than before this lesson? And if so, discuss some of the reasons why. Okay, I'm going to set a 5-minute timer here, and when this goes off, we will continue on to the next part of the lesson and activity. Ready, set, go. Maybe. Okay, good. So, guys, I hope that discussion went well and that you learned something from your classmates and from your peers. Now, I want you guys to practice one of these new note-taking methods that we just worked on. So at this time, your teachers are going to pass out some handouts. One of these handouts is a note-taking tip sheet. This sheet will just give you some additional note-taking tips that you can use in order to improve your note-taking skills. And then also, they're going to hand you a Cornell Notes outline, and also just another outline paper that you can use to take notes. Okay, guys, now at this part of the activity, I want you to partner up with one of your classmates. During this time, I want you to tell your classmate a story. It can be a real story, it can be a made-up story, it could be a lesson about a topic you're really passionate about. I just want you to tell a story, as long as it's school appropriate, to your partner. And at that time, I want your partner to practice taking notes using one of the three methods we just learned. So either using Cornell Notes, using the outline method, or using the box method. And then I want you to flip after you're done. So partners, make sure you tell your other partner a story that's going to last long enough for them to take some good notes. When you're finished, turn in these notes to your teacher and let them look over it and give you some additional pointers. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me by email or come over to my room, and we can easily talk about some other note-taking strategies if you're still confused. So guys, thank you for listening again today, and I hope you have a great day. Go Bearcats!